Are jumping back into our space scene that we're working on for computer art, and where we left off was we have one planet here, a couple stars that we've rendered, and some clouds. What we'll start out by doing is adding some texture to this first planet, and what we're going to do is select your top layer. You should have one gradient underneath and a top layer that has the shadow on it, and your top layer of color. What we're going to do is we're going to go into what's called the filter gallery. Okay, so filter gallery is going to be where we can find different textures and different things that we can, different effects and filters that we can apply to our drawings. So you have a bunch of different menus on the side here that may be open. Close them all down if you can, keep it a little bit simpler. The one we're going to be looking into is using the distort menu. And there's a couple different options, and there's lots of different options in here that could work for textures. I think that these work best for this type of texture, this either the glass texture or ocean ripple, and you can kind of play with the amount of texture that's going on here with some of the sliders on the side, mess with the smoothness, and then the amount of distortion that you add to your planet texture. So, find a balance that's right for you. I think I'd turn the smoothness down a little bit more, make that a little rougher. And then whenever you get pretty good with that, you can say OK, and we'll kind of see how our planet has a little more texture to it now. It doesn't look so flat. So what I'm going to do is actually start by, maybe I'll make this, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and then I'll make a duplicate of it. Oops, I have to hit enter there. So I'm going to select both of these layers by holding shift, and then I'm going to hold shift and click on drag this planet a little bit smaller, maybe move it into the corner there. And once I get that transformation done, I'll hit apply. So I'm going to copy this planet and make a copy of everything here by holding down the option key and clicking and dragging. Oh, so I just got one layer there. We'll hold shift and click to select both of those layers, and then hold the option key and click and drag. That will pull out a duplicate layer set of these two layers. And now what we can go ahead and do is we can do a couple things. One, we'll want to probably make this this planet a different color from the other one so that they're not both the same. So we'll go to our image menu at the top, and we'll go to adjustments and hue and saturation, and there we can just kind of pull these slider bars. We get a different color combo than we had before. There we go, so kind of an orange to yellow. And then I'll do the same thing for the layer underneath. So again, go to image at the top of the bar, adjustments and hue saturation. So I'll take this, maybe I'll change that to a purplish tone. Cool. So we'll say OK. Maybe shrink this planet down a little bit too. Oops. Remember holding shift and then clicking on another layer. We'll select both, holding shift when we click and drag from the corners, and maybe I'll even do a little rotation to this planet too, just to kind of add a little variety to the scene here. Okay, so apply the transformation, and the last thing I'm going to do is add a couple blur lines to the foreground here. This will be kind of like galaxy type or comet tails kind of going by in the scene. And so what we're going to do is actually take our paintbrush and choose a color that will stand out against the background. I'll go for maybe like a bluish green type color, maybe something like this. And what we're going to do is just make a series of some brush marks. We're going to use the faded edge brush, alright, and a decent size. I think I have 35 or 38 on right now, and that should work. And we're just going to go right across, kind of right in front of our scene here. Don't worry about being too neat, because what we're going to do is apply another filter to this. I might have gone a little bit too far, so maybe I'll go into my history menu. Let's see, let's go back. Okay, yeah, just go back a step, and I think I went a little bit too hard in the paintbrush. So again, just a kind of a streaking series of couple lines going across here. Alright, that should do it. Maybe I'll just go a little bit more. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to apply a filter to this. So we're going to go to our filter menu at the top, go down to blur, and we're going to apply a motion blur to this. Alright, so see how it kind of fuzzes it out there. We can change the angle of the blur. So as you can see, certain angles will make it appear a little bit more clear than others. We can shorten the distance, so shorter distance means less blurring that's going to actually happen. And so, I might do a lot of blurring to this. Find a level that seems good, and we'll say OK. So what that does is just kind of adds a little texture. This planet doesn't stick out so harshly. I'll do another layer and a different color. So what I'll do is maybe take this time like a brighter color, maybe an orange, something that's going to stand out a little bit more. And I'll do one more kind of layer. Remember, we created a new layer here, and maybe I'll go kind of like keep this one a little bit more on the thin side. And maybe we'll wrap kind of around this planet here. Okay, so now again we're going to go to filter and blur and apply a motion blur. Now there's a few different types of blurs that you can try and play around with. Motion blur I think works best for what we're doing here. It's really nice that you can live preview what your blur is going to look like. There we go. I think that's pretty cool. A little layer we got in there. Awesome. So that pretty much does it for adding the texture and some blurs to your scene. Feel free to take any creative license with your own, and really hope you have lots of luck with it.